This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do?
Alright, let's get the game going. Before we do, hang on, I'm going to shuffle this. So we're going to have Kentucky Route Zero, Rain World, Fallout 4, and Fallout 1 soundtracks. Oh yeah, and also Evergrace. So it'll be hopefully not too chaotic in terms of dynamics, though it probably will be. But okay, before we get into At the Ends of Eras game development, I'm going to do a tour of Kitty Found a Camera's gas station, because I finally did the last of the textures. It took like a month to do the textures in this one gas station, so hopefully the other ones take faster, even though there's no reason to suspect such a thing. And what should I do for Kitty? I'm still debating when to make the trailer for Kitty Found a Camera. You know, there's the trade-off of, like, the longer you have a Steam page with a good trailer, the better, I think. But also, the better the game looks in the trailer, the better. And that makes more sense to me. Because I think there's diminishing returns on, like, you know, if you have a store page for, like, 2 years, that's not going to do much more than, like, 1 year. And 1 year is probably not going to do much more than, like, I don't know. I'd have to look at, like, the equations. And I don't think there's an equation for it. But my intuition says, like, 3 months before your game releases is probably, like, the optimal time to have a Steam page. But I also am basing that on literally no information or no prior experience whatsoever. Take your time, Godot. Okay. Billionaires. Let's make sure that everything imported properly. Looks good. I'm just going to show off the gas station. What did I even do off-stream? I kind of just, like, well, admittedly, the nice thing about it is that putting low effort into things also makes them funny. Wait, I don't have my dang car. Hang on. Why do I not have my car? Oh, wait. Oh, wait. There we go. Alright, there we go. And now, okay, did I fix this UI on stream or off stream? No, I fixed it on stream. I remember rambling about the fact that I wish the dialogue still, like, or I still need to subtly improve the dialogue after you do your, you know, after you get your item. Okay. And there's our before and after image. There we go. Now we got colorful car keys. So yeah. The fact that the dialogue after getting an item doesn't do the gracefully unrolling thing. Instead, it just pops up at once, because technically it's already being shown. And I just hide the UI for it. A bit janky, but I don't want to bother yet. I'll do that as like a final polishing thing. Well, I died. That didn't help a whole lot. More seams. And I need these seams here in order for the lighting, because each mesh is limited to only like 4 lights per object or something like that. Some very small number, because I'm using the mobile renderer. But yeah, so now the gas station is done. All the food. We got Smunk, Big Cigar. We got an ad for Furious Fred's beer. My family was destroyed by alcoholism, and now I have to sell this garbage beer. Isn't so true, Fred. He puts gasoline in the beer and nobody notices. Let's see. And I know I did this on stream, but I'm just really proud of this little image. I just like it. It's like, I feel like it's the most, like, personality in here. So it'll be fun, because now I have the laptop as well as like a little prefab. And I can give each person their own little desktop background. You know, some people will have like just the default. I also like the texture for the cash register, which I also showed on stream, so I'm just repeating myself. But yeah, you can tell that this was like one of the last ones that I made. This was the second to last texture, and I was like, I don't fucking care. It's toilet paper. But the real last one was Dirty Dude paper towels. Not Dirty Dudes to match Clean Guys paper towels. Just Dirty Dude, because I realized that I couldn't be bothered to add the apostrophe S after I finished the texture. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with the textures here. It's part of the joke. And that's the nice part about this game, is that I can just, like, be lazy occasionally. And that is a joke in and of itself. Like, I imagine one of the funnier things here will be 348 pebbles is just one of the boxes. Only one of them, though. But okay. That's enough patting myself on the back for work that you didn't even see. Let's go back to At the End of Eras. We're going back to the level design mines. But yeah, I think At the Ends of Eras, I'm looking forward. I think that this vertical slice will be a manageable part of the game. It'll show an interesting component, because basically my plan for this vertical slice is the intro area, and then there's just a door or some sort of place where you, like, go to the opulent medium. And so just those two little sections will show plenty of the game, I think. And then... oh yeah, and I've decided that I'm going to change the way that this area is structured. So right now what we do is, like, we escape the bounds of this level. Hang on, let's go to the moving room. So, you know, as the room goes down and does its cool elevator thing, we basically get out of the room right here. But what I'm actually going to do... and then we platform up to here, and then as this thing leaves, we then platform across this up into here. However, I think... did I mention this on stream? I'm going to actually have it... we're going to revisit this room twice. So the first time we come into the back of here, we're actually just going to go out like this way or something and loop around this from the outside. And then we're going to come back into here, I think, with the key to unlock this door. And then, like, do this room legit. But Razia is going to be like, well, we need to, like, find the capacitor that I was looking for. And that's when we then jank out the medium and then sneak into this room. Or when we gain access to this. So what I'm going to do now is that. I was going to get out my paint to draw the level, but it's literally just... we do that, and then we do that. And then we leave. So this is the medium. See the game plan? That's how the game plan works. So first things first, let's remove falling platform. Don't need that. And we don't have the falling platform here? Interesting. Because yeah, all of these beautiful fans that I spent so long putting there haphazardly, none of that's there. Because we will reintroduce the fans and the moving platforms and the time switches. And then we will get the gun. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. Project. Let's do... What do we do? Probably not this scene, since this is not the right one. Presumably it's in assets, which is at the bottom, because for some reason this remembers forever that I want reverse alphabetical order. Okay, and this is in test. Is it not in test? Wait, where the hell is it? Environment test? Oh, that makes sense. Okay. And eventually I need to change this because it's not going to be very there forever. But okay, so no longer have these pipes because I'm going to do something different with this place. So yeah, we will have no easy way to platform over to here. And eventually I need to do a more dramatic transformation because this is also not going to be here. This whole room. And actually, we don't even need the hologram anymore. Well, for now it's a good enough placeholder. Basically, I want it to be that you can't see outside of the room. But eventually you will be able to. Because yeah, eventually it's not going to have the hologram. It's going to have the panels of the wall come out and like make a face at you. Or like do visualizations and stuff like that. As some sort of elaborate machine. And then you break the machine and can platform on those platform on those like wall panels into some sort of massive back chamber. And that then leads to this stuff. But okay, this time gun room. Yeah, fine. That's fine. All of these rooms are meant to be independent things. So I think the way that this will work is... What if I have this platform? Actually, what if I do... I want, So we have now two of these. 3D cursor. There we go. Okay. So now I have a perfectly symmetrical door. And what we're going to do is then have some way for the chamber to, like, loop back in on itself. Boom. And I just realized, I don't even need to make this look good. Because I don't care yet. But let's put a little bit of effort into it. I actually have no idea how that worked as well as it did. Like, that feels like it shouldn't have worked. Oh well. What do I want for here? I think I'm gonna do, that. Something like this, basically. Why did I design it this way? Good enough. Actually, I have a good idea. Also, I still need to beat, whatever the heck we're listening to. Kentucky Route Zero. I found it very interesting, but I just haven't, like, gone back and, like, finished it now that they've, like, made the last chapter. Yeah, janky, crusty, not finished, but good enough. And that way, now I can add a thing there, and a thing here. Okay, let's also just make these all, like, the same height, I think. And that means we actually do need the wall here cut out, which we don't have. Oh wait, we do have. Okay. So yeah, basically, the way that I'm going to do things is... Oh wait, let's keep that the same. My plan is, we escape into this back room, we do some platforming up here to reintroduce ourselves to, like, the, all of the tools that we learned in this area, and then we get the time gun. And we do yet more platforming, getting all of our cool things. And then we come back right to here. And so this puts us at a very convenient, like, looping back point of, like, okay. You know, and we get, like, a key right here, I think, to let us open this door again. So that way the player can both get out and tell the scientists, like, do their scientist quest. And Razia can be like, wait, I need to do my stuff still. So you can come back here later, or just come with me now, back into this room. Resume the rest of the quest, because Razia will then do other things to get back into this room instead. So that way we have two loop-back points. One, because for some reason, looping back in a level feels clever. You know, it just feels like intrinsically, like, smart level design, even when it doesn't have value. But also, here, it actually does have value, in the sense of, like, you know, letting the player loop back, I guess. But okay, so this thing is actually a door medium kinematic. And eventually I'll even make these all aligned properly. And, I think I want to give this the same treatment as this. I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the solidify modifier on this. Because, yeah, for most of these, we don't need these. What I do instead is flip the normals. Well, actually, we could have, Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do this for now. I'm a big boy, I can handle my back faces. And that'll make it easier for me to see inside of all of these. So yeah, no solidify. So yeah, that makes my life easier. So, do I want anything here like this, maybe? Alright. So yeah, as you might imagine, a lot of these doors are not very good looking. So door, time, gun, dash, kinematic. This will also be attached to the room. So I guess what I'll do here is just kind of cut a hole right about, Oh wait, hang on. Thank you, Godot, for not doing that. Or Blender. Whatever this tool is. I've talked about it before, how thank you, Godot has become like, my rhetorical tick, or verbal tick. Okay, that's our cool thing there. And I think I could make this a separate room, but I'm not going to bother yet. Okay. New room. Why are all of these in the wrong collection? What even is that collection? We don't need that. Okay, so this is now going to be, time, gun, challenge, room. Or no. Refresher room. I'm actually thinking probably move this down so, like, we do a little bit of platforming here. And I think here I want to do, that. So, like, we do a bit of, like, you know, fan or time gun or something. Or no, fan or falling platforms to get up to here. And then we do a bit more platforming in this room. So, okay, there's no thing there. Do a little bit of that. Get into this room, which is going to do yet more of this. Oh, wait, no, I forgot. The whole thing was, we actually have the wall here. And we're, like, you know, inside of this. Let's do, like, 28. Okay. Like that. Because I want to show that this machine in here had some sort of, like, purpose. And also, we don't need any of this. And I think this I'm actually going to attach here. Okay. Wait, did I not join those properly? Also, I forgot to add a empty single arrow. This is what the actual room is attached to. Because this is Refresher 1 Collision. And this is Refresher Room. Actually, let's call it Chamber Backing Room. Or no. Yes, actually. Individual origins. No. 3D cursor. There we are. So this is similar to a room that we had in the old version of this level, but now it actually has some sort of, like, meaning. Because, basically, now we can see that the necropolis was not just, or the ossuary, as this is called, was not just a place for bones, it had some sort of, like, purpose. That leaves a bit to be desired, I think. How do I attach this properly? I think what we do is move this. Like that. There we are. And I gotta remember, I don't need to sweat the details too much here. But yeah, so now it's similar to the challenge we had way back when. So we do our time gun, what have yous. Potentially do a few different things here, actually. You know, because we could have this be another place where we loop back. I'll think about it. I'm basically just kind of making whatever I want. Whatever seems cool, and then I'll think about how to actually turn that into a good video game design. There we go. Why is there... There we go. My keyboard's still kind of broken. It says that I'm holding Alt or Control or whatever. Wait. What the heck is this? How did I create a duplicate face here? Ah, well. I must have pressed F by accident. Ah, well. And now, our magical thing, where I can do this, grid fill. Perfect. Actually, do I want to do that? Just do auto smooth. Yeah. We could do a bevel modifier as well. But okay. I think that's plenty there. Let's have this over here as an extra door. So yeah, I like the idea that we get one key somewhere, and then we have, like, basically access to each of these quadrants without having to do all the rigmarole again. That makes sense to me. That seems like a good idea. And yeah, we don't need to make this a huge place either, because, you know, I don't need to make big levels. Because, yeah, I need to remember, people will understand that it's a, like, a platformer made by one person. Well, at least as long as I say that it is. Just put this in some spot somewhere. What I'm thinking is, basically there's some platforming to get over to here, using probably the falling platforms or something. And those are simpler than the next set of platforms. Because basically there'll be like a platforming challenge to get to here. And that gets us the time gun, which is then like, oh, cool, we have the ability to slow down time, and then we can do all sorts of challenges here. Hang on. Oh, wait, that's not the right thing to do. How did that... I wanted this to copy this transform. I have a good idea. Add a constraint. Copy transforms of time gun room. So that way, I never have to bother with accidentally... So if I accidentally fiddle with this, it doesn't do anything. But okay. For now, we're going to have that. And then we could potentially loop back into this room again through some other mechanism. And that time gun allows us to do something in here. Probably some, like, little optional area over here to, like, be like, oh, cool, now I can do all these things. And then we come back up. Probably do more stuff this way, I'm gonna say. I'm going to say it attaches perfectly right there. And I'm going to say this is right there, this is right there. We have some sort of platform going up to here. Maybe we actually have this stay level with that. Yeah, that seems fine. And then that means that we'd have to figure out a way of, like, more gracefully attaching this stuff to itself. But I can figure that out. This whole layout here was just kind of haphazard. But that will get us to open this door, and then that leads to here. Maybe. Like a door up here. And that door has some value somehow to do something. I don't know exactly what. Maybe it lets us go over to here, and there's something cool over this way. Some little secret or something. But okay, also this whole thing here. All of this should be flush with these doors. Oop. There we are. Beautiful. Oh wait, but that does mean this here. What if I just did that? And there's just no explanation for why that's a little bit lower. Clunky. Oh well. It gets the gist across, I think. Right. Remove that. Okay, so that whole outer chamber... Oh, yeah. Last but not least, we need to remove this face here. So now I think a big thing will be... let's add some, like... copper. Probably copper to all of this stuff. Because I'm not sure exactly who built what here. I think perhaps... Because, yeah, you can see that there's the stone, and then there's the metal. And I think this would have actually been built out of the metal, but it has stone elements. Because basically this is ancient ruins that have been repurposed by another ancient but less ancient society. And then let's also just kind of get everything here that needs material still. And just, like, slap something on here. Oh wait, it needs to be local coordinates, because otherwise all this stuff is going to be, like, moving around. Because, yeah, if we do this... Yeah, not quite what I need there. There we go. Oop. This thing as well. Okay. Does that work? I think this thing should be, this. There we go. Now it looks a little different. So now everything you can actually see. And here, I want to have some water. Shade. No. Origin to center. And this will just be water. So you will instantly die from that water. Let's make sure that the water actually works. Let's do like a surface of like green. Okay, look at that. It actually is working, kind of, I think. Then foam color. Noise. Yeah, this is what I want here. Foam noise, foam texture. Okay, I see how that works. Slime. Goo. Muck. I forget what I called the, like, water noise texture. What if I just did like that? Then we have like 2 here. Okay. And then I want the depth albedo to be like that. And also, I think this needs to be substantially brighter. As much as it pains me, I need to actually be able to see where I'm going. Okay, so now we have... I need to make sure that I know exactly what I want for this. Let's see, what do I have over here? My devlog script. This stuff. Okay. Let's go to Notes. Necropolis 2. So yeah, refresher. So we need to refresh on the falling platforms, fans, timed buttons. And this should all happen before we, like right before we get our time gun. And I think it can kind of serve as like a final challenge. Like now it's actually like, you should know how these work quite well. And it's just challenging to get from one place to another. And I think it could be we have some pipes that are going along the water in a similar pattern to what I'd had for the original Necropolis. But putting a little bit more thought into this chamber, basically. Because yeah, here... these are laid out haphazardly, this is laid out haphazardly, it all sucks. It looks bad. Also there we go. My blinds were not blocking the sun from hitting me right in the eyes. Okay, for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some falling platforms into here. Oh yeah, let's also calculate our room bounds. Chamber backing. This is a room, right? Okay, yeah, it is. Good. Oh yeah, I just hid the room colliders because I don't actually need them. Okay, so here we're going to put some falling platforms. And I'm just going to mix them with the square platforms for, like, you know, these temporary handholds versus permanent ones. And here, I think what I could do is make it too difficult to get back so that you have to do this area. And that would require moving all of this down. Because basically what I'm going to do is we have some falling platforms that fall down to let us get to here. However, then we have to jump up to get back over to here, and that's too difficult for us to do without the time gun, because the platforms just fall too fast. And also, I'll have a timed platform, or a timed button here that goes way too quickly around the corner to, like, open up a door right about here. Then it'll be like, well, I can't do that, but I can go into this door. And then from there, that gives you the time gun, it gives you some little, like, side path tutorial, and then you come back out and you're like, okay, now I have the powers to, like, slow down time, go back this way, press the button again, and then do the platforming to get around this way. That all makes sense. And then that means that we should have... I'll have to figure out how to make these work properly. I know what to do. We'll have just a relatively easy, straightforward thing here. Where's our square platform? Have one of these as like a rest or a respite. Is that the proper pronunciation? I don't know. I think I want this to be less far. Because it's kind of annoying. And that also means I want it to be lower. And then just have this here as like... Wait, hang on. Okay, good enough. Perfect. Put that face back. Have this face come down. So basically we'll have a very simple platforming challenge to get down to here. And it'll be quite obvious that we can't get back up. It's almost flooded. Okay. Because yeah, it's just too far. It's just annoying. Now we have a more reasonable challenge, I think. So what I actually want is 1, 2, 3. I think we can get up 3 meters. I'll have to double check that though. And I forgot we can do this. Oh wait, because this is so close to a wall... Hang on. I need this to be further from the wall, so that way we can't actually use the wall to, like, climb, because otherwise that trivializes this, where you just step on the platform to refresh your stamina, then get on the wall, then jump to the platform. We can do that here, like, as we get closer to the wall. That'll be perfectly fine to do. There we go. So now the player can see, like, okay, there's this way down here, and then there's some, like, fucked up, like, gauntlet to get over to here in time for the falling platform. And now I do need to move this stuff around, which I'm fine with, because it's just this pipe and this stuff. I'll figure that out soon. No, so I'm just going to put a fountain here. Eventually these, I think I'm going to eventually completely replace these fountains with just implicit checkpoints, because I think the fountain system doesn't make sense. It makes sense in something like Dark Souls, where it's much slower and more methodical. And it's like, oh, thank God, there's a checkpoint. But that's not how this game is structured. You know, because it saves every single time you talk to an NPC, for example. But okay, so that gets us... Wait, where the hell are we? Oh yeah, we're at the wrong place now. Because yeah, now we need to be over there. Oh, right. We need to actually just completely delete the save. Or do we? I guess we do. Okay, autosave. Razia 1. I think we can do Razia 1. That should work. Razia 1. Global debug load Razia 1. And hopefully we, okay, and we respawn in the correct place. Okay, okay. Oh wait, I was supposed to do stuff while we were out there. Too late now. Try that again. Yeah, we need to get into here. There we go. Then we open the door, then Razi is here, then we need to get up to there, which I forgot to do, so I'll save and exit here. Because then what I'll have is, again, a fan or something. This will send us, I don't know, 15 meters a second. Up to a, I don't know, what have you, falling platform. Yeah, this makes a lot more sense than trying to have, trying to loop around here, because, you know, having those falling platforms there was very janky and weird. And now what it's going to be is I'll need to think a lot more about the actual mechanism that the medium uses to do its cool visuals, because you'll platform on that mechanism as it's moving around and shifting the room to make, whatever you're talking to. Alright, let's see if that's correct. Because, yeah, I can refine the individual challenges in this area once I have them in place and, understand the structure of the level. Okay, that's good enough. And that gets us to here. And then that is practically begging for us to walk down here. However, if we then tried to go back up here, it's simply too fast for our feeble little body. Unless we have this. So now what it is that. And so then we'll have our button that sends a signal careening down that way. And it'll be way too fast for us to actually get there before the door. And yeah, then we have all of our optional things in here. I think it's just going to be, basically just a little playground in here of, here's all of the things you'll be interacting with, and here's how you actually, do stuff with them. Actually, what's Razia think now? The door's open, let's go deeper. Fair enough. Eventually I need to have, when you get the time gun, you're like, hey, Razia, check this out. Womp. Now you're stuck in the water forever. I like this. Yeah, so this part... Why is this part flooded anyway? I think, as I said, I think this whole structure is a neutrino detector. And it was inspired by the one in, there's one in Japan that's like a gigantic chamber that's filled with water with a bunch of weird, like, giant vacuum tubes around the outside, like giant light bulbs, basically. And anytime a neutrino interacts with the water, it emits radiation that those big light bulbs detect. And so I think I could have that here, but I would be curious what the inner chamber, like the purpose of the inner chamber then. Because what they did, like, because the Sirdi, the new Sirdi, I guess, they filled it with bones because they thought it was an ossuary. I don't know why they thought it was an ossuary, but they did. But okay. Actually, I need to make sure that you can't, like... If you're a gamer, you can really get that. But that's okay. It's not meant to be like, this is literally impossible unless you have the time gun. It's meant to be, it's way easier to just get the time gun and learn how to use it than it is to, like, you know, gamer god your way up here. But okay, that's good. Then we need some sort of door over here to do a gizmo gadget. So I'm going to put a little wall there. Let's put it right here. Actually, delete that. This is going to be wall. Let's call it X collision. Hang on. We need to do that first. What? Get local coordinates. Why is this thing all screwed up? There we go. So here we're just going to have one of our fancy doors. Okay. Oh, wait. That needs to be called, again, wall X or whatever. Wall pressure 1 collision. And hopefully that is parented to this appropriately. And then what I can do is get door 1. Good enough for now. As long as it gets the gist of it. Because, yeah, then we have our cool big button. This bad boy all the way across here. I think it's going to be like 7 seconds. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's completely busted when you press F to focus on a thing. Okay. What did I do? I need this. I think we're gonna need another point in here. What if we put it... Wait, what the heck did this thing do? Oh, I accidentally looped it. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, because I have this going the opposite way. Okay. There we are. And this door, or this attaches to our door one here. This one. I'm gonna call this door refresher. Okay. I'm gonna skip this song. So now, that goes way too fast for us to follow it. Especially once we actually have, like, the challenge here. A lot of looping back in this level, more than I expected. But that's I guess, not a bad thing. It makes it compact. It makes it, easy to accidentally go in a place you've gone before. Hopefully the landmarks are distinct enough for players to be like, oh, I've been in this room before. Is there... Oh, it's very understated music. Yeah, so now we need to figure out... Oh, hi, welcome back. I'm doing well. I'm remaking my cool level with a cool time gun. And I think what I need is, what do I need? I'm making a big gauntlet of platforming, where you have to slow down time. My thoughts exactly. I guess what I'll do, for now I'll just make it out of these pieces. Rather than actually going back to Blender and figuring out all that stuff. Because yeah, basically this should just be platforming that can't be done feasibly without the time-slowing gun. And then once you get it, you're like, alright, let's do this. Let's make a dang gauntlet. Let's see. It's been more regular. I went to bed at like 1 a.m., but then I still woke up at like 10. Actually, when did I go to bed? I think it was like midnight. Exactly, yeah. Portal is actually one of the big structural inspirations. Oh wait, I mentioned that in one of my weekly videos, didn't I? Let's actually have this go 3. Because basically 3 meters is like the height where now you have to use the crouch jump. And that's too slow for these falling platforms. Oh wait, I forgot. I have to do that then. So you have to crouch jump up to here, then jump up to like here, for example. Yeah, because basically I went through Portal and I like listed out every mechanic that is introduced in a level, and then like for every level, which mechanics does it reuse, which mechanics does it like introduce new variations to, and stuff like that. And I've been trying to keep that in mind as I design things, of like, people like... Well, it's useful to introduce a few variations of a concept, and then you start mixing it in with all of the other concepts. Though admittedly, this isn't a puzzle game, so it should be simpler. I'd actually kind of like, now that I'm thinking about this, what if I have a sub-platform where, like, you press a button, and then there's two little platforms that come out. No, but that could interfere with the time too much. But actually, I could still have that by having another wire. So like we have one of these in here, for example. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, Portal has a lot of a few of what I'd call gimmies, where basically they'll also just have you do a thing you already know how to do occasionally. And it's like, oh, that's fun. Because, yeah, it's rewarding to, like, learn how to do something and then be able to show your mastery of it. By, like, you know, the example that I remember most was when you're putting a bunch of boxes through portals to hit turrets. Like, because it just clearly marks where on the ceiling you should put a portal, and then there's just a whole bunch of boxes that you can hit. Let's see, this one's going to be... I'm going to say this is going to be, like, 3 seconds. And that one's going to activate a door here. So this is going to be, like, our moving platform. Or actually, I'm going to call it a... Let's put a marker here. Have this as a child of that. Have this here. And then we'll have this be door refresher sub platform. Yeah, it's very quick to reset in Portal. And I think this game will wind up having a lot of that structure of, like, bite-sized levels. Like, you respawn at the start of this thing. Like, this is probably one of the longest platforming sequences. And in real time, it'd be like 7 seconds. Yeah, even if there's not... Even when the iteration, or like the time to get back to where you were is longer, like in Dark Souls, those have the advantage of, like, you only do some of the things again. Because, like, when you pick up items or talk to NPCs, it keeps track of that between deaths, or across deaths. And it's only, like, the combat that you have to redo. So yeah, being very intentional about what the player has to do again is a huge benefit. But okay, let's have activate. And what this is going to do is we're just going to have, like, transforms. Have this move a little bit like there. And I guess all of these are technically, like, placeholders still. Yeah. Yeah, because even in Dark Souls, you really only need to do a fight if it's a boss, or if you just want the reward for it. And otherwise, if you're evasive enough, you can just get past it. But okay, let's make sure that this is a thing that I can't feasibly do without the time gun. Yeah, that seems too hard without the time gun. So the player's going to be like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Let's just go down that way first. Wait, these were supposed to be open? Oh, wait, I didn't actually attach the wire to the door. Yeah, this wire needs the door refresher. Oh, wait. And that needs to have the door script attached to it. There we go. Now we can assign this. I still don't know why that's a dirty word. But okay, so now I should be... So now we're about halfway there. That makes sense. Because, yeah, I don't know how much of this will actually wind up being placeholder in the end. It could all wind up being permanent. Let's actually do... I know what I want to do. 4 meters. A whopping 4 meters. And then we have these as, like, big platforms at the end, where you have to not only jump, but also climb a little bit. And then probably one of these square platforms at the very end. Probably like right there. And eventually I can make this all look cool with like pipes and stuff. Yeah, so this feels a lot less Oh yeah, I probably should have slowed down time before I did this stuff. I feel like my time slowing stuff drains not... It doesn't drain fast enough. Like, I'm at 60% here. But okay. And we... Yeah, that feels about right, actually. I'm surprised at how feasible that feels. Like, I didn't have to tune stuff aggressively to make it even playable. I'll have to see how players feel about that, but that feels downright playable. So I'll have to keep in mind the... Ooh, that's going to be tricky to translate that back into Blender with the pipes and stuff. Maybe what I'll do is just make better looking prefabs and then slap those in rather than the moving platforms. But okay, that means that we can now get into here. And then the next challenge would be getting up to there using fans, I'm betting. Timed platforms and fans. And then that leads us back up into the other thing. But okay. I think my first order of business, though, should be to rearrange this stuff so that I actually have room here to maneuver. Because, yeah, I slapped in... Because this was definitely placeholder, this whole room here. So I think what I'm going to do is... What am I going to do? Alright, let's keep this around. This room 1 collision. I'm gonna probably need to dramatically reshape it based on the circle here. Because, yeah, I think all of this level, or most of this level, will be built around this circle. Or this chamber. And then the rest of it will be built around this chamber. So let's have a cylinder of... Actually, no, let's not have a cylinder. Let's have a circle. And that's going to be 56. There we are. Because what I'll do is I'll have this attached to this in some nice way. But it'll only attach about here. There we go. let's go back up. See, do we need this to also... I think this can also have it solidify removed. Because yeah, we don't need that. So yeah, we're getting a little less placeholder-y. And for now... let's have that unify there. Oh, wait. Oh, I know what I should have did. Why did I start saying that's what I should have did? I think it's because I heard it from, those Hitman Reacts videos. Where he's like, yeah, that's what I would have did. So now I just don't speak properly anymore. No, I should keep... hang on. I'm, like, forgetting what I should do. We're going to keep this approximately in the same place because I can't be bothered. And then what we do is we remove this somehow. I think we remove this whole floor. Oh, wait. Hang on. This whole part here... okay. So we could have a pipe coming here. That would be good. And that pipe would come out, spit us out here, probably. Or here, I guess. To somewhere. I guess let's keep that there as well. Okay, that feels like about the right place for that. Do I want this to keep going out like this? Yeah, okay, that seems fair. Because, yeah, I don't really need any of this, other than knowing approximately where the bounds of this are. In fact, what I should have done... there we go. So now we have, like, a circle here. Admittedly, I should have... whatever. Just put this there. So now what I can do is I can have this, like, circle around like this. Ooh, and we can actually have this attach here. Once I have that in place. But okay. That means that now I no longer need these. You know, I think also I don't really need this here. Let's auto smooth. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just have this be the door, and then this can be, like, who knows what. Alright, what is this? Where's our mean... Okay, bevel weight. There we go. Oh, wait, these are both supposed to have that. Okay. I'm confused by how this is supposed to do what it does. Okay, I see. This is 1. And this should also be 1 then. Close enough. I don't care. So what's this supposed to do? This is basically just a room with a platforming challenge that introduces timed buttons. So if we go back down to this room, well, now it's a bit different than it was, but wait, where the heck is it actually? This place is getting a bit more jam-packed. Basically, we have a door we stand on, get to here, and then we go through another door that's timed, so we have to brace it. That gets us up to here. Then we jump across. And then we platform around that. Let's see. I think this will be easier for me to understand once I get this back in. There we are. There we go. And I think as well I need a larger room here, because yeah, we have this extend outward. Get into this platform here. I think what I'll do... I guess this is fine. I don't mind having, like, you jump up to a door here, and then that leads to a room with this, and then you jump up to there. I'll do that. So that means we probably need that there. Because, yeah, we'll have this directly across from the first door. Oh, wait. There we go. I probably should have not done that until I had these here. So basically, we have a timed button, we jump up to here, and then we get into a fan in the back of this to get up further. And we have our moving platform, or falling platforms that we jump across. That gets us to like 2 different platforms this way. And then there should be a door right about here to get into... No, wait, hang on. I guess what I can have is just an optional path down that way, and down that way. Let's get this stuff integrated first. See, I'll mix in like my CSG stuff. Man, we need the music higher. I like this song. So do we need this here? I guess we kind of do. I guess what I'll do is move this down a little bit. Like that. And now we don't even need this. And by the honor system, we'll have people go through the door, even though they're just very clearly not necessary. And that introduces the concept of platforms that go up. Or of things that make us go up. Yeah, the walls here aren't even placeholder, they're just not there. It's holding the place for... It's like hypothetical walls, basically. And I think what I can do is... Why can't I... Oh yeah, I forgot. There's like a weird thing with Godot where like, I can't just like... If I've selected two things, I can't click on a thing to select one of them. I have to select this and then select one. Yeah, exactly. We don't even need that anymore. Actually, what the heck was that? Oh, I see. That was the other parts here. Put that there. Oh, yeah, because... Hang on. Undo that. So I think now what we do is we'd have like a right angle here. Oh. Oh yeah, we can't do that. Then what should I do? I guess I'll get another CSG box. And just put it over here. This is where you can also go. You can jump into two different locations. And then from that, we'll get a... I guess just a funky little platforming segment that goes up to here. And we'll just have this whole room, essentially like the floor plan duplicated up to here to get our other non-linear segment. I like how weird this room looks now. I mean, admittedly, it does leave sort of an awkward empty space here, but actually, I just had a bold new idea. What if I remove that segment? Just... Wait, hang on. All these vertices are gone. And then we can also even, dare I say, remove these vertices. And then that means I don't need this. And I should probably have this at the same height as this. But, what if I just make everything else accommodate for the height here? Just have all of this stuff go up. Like that. And actually, tragically, I will need to move this stuff so that it's not, like, ruining my perfect, beautiful thing over here. Let's add a marker. So this is going to be crossroads. there, move that there, move all of this stuff. Actually, we need to make it so that we don't select the children of the thing, because otherwise it breaks it. Okay. So now I can adjust this without breaking everything. And let's move that like that. I know. Just move that inward. We can embrace the bugs of it. Because, yeah, we'll convert that into floor some other time. Exactly. And that means we don't need any of these challenge A blocks, I don't think. Yeah, because all of this... Oh, that's not what I need. This is our... I'm going to call this Room 1 Exit palette. And basically it'll just be another platform. I have an idea. So we have this go up, and then we're going to have it just go down. Into a big pit that'll kill you instantly. Wonderful. Actually, let's put that in the challenge. Death Flame. And let's make sure that doesn't peek in at all, because it'll kill the player if they touch it at all. So yeah, someday I may need to be a bit more careful. Alright, how much scale? Wait, no, that's not the one I want. 100. That's not what I want. Okay, so Z is what I want. Okay. So now that'll kill you when you jump into it. And that means we should have a little thing right here. I'd say this will be where our rooms unite. And for now, just have that there. Oh, wait. There we go. Let's also remove the solidify from that. Okay. Oh, wait. We need a little bit... Yeah, let's have some of this stuff come in a little bit with, like, median. Admittedly, as before, this doesn't actually need to look any good. It just needs to be something where I can actually see what's happening. Okay. So now we have yet another place where I can, like, Might be a bit too much. I know what to do. Square platform. I'll just have some things that you can stand on without dying. That means we should probably have this come up to about here. Have this over here. Probably completely delete the floor here. Of like, Yeah, because now we can just do exactly the same thing that we did here. Oh, wait. There we go. So now I have a room that has approximately the same floor plan. What if I... Hang on. I don't actually need these. Well, I do need this one. Yeah, good enough for now. I think the interesting challenge with this is the fact that you can't actually see the door. Well, I guess that's not really a challenge. It's just like a wrinkle in what the player might be thinking about. But okay, and then get this. So we're just going to have one more platform that you have to jump up. Maybe 2 meters. Or 3, actually. This one you will have to, like, ledge grab, and then you can get up to here. That means this should probably be 7 seconds. That feels like a long time for this door. But okay, let's get that in there. And then we probably do need a wall in here somewhere. I have a good idea. Actually, let's just make it a CSG box for now. Copper. So yeah, this time I actually will add a full wall. And what I'll do is, using the modern powers of technology, I will approximately cut out a shape for this door. Actually, let's change the type of this. To like 3. There we go. Beautiful. So now I can see if this even makes sense. So how far should I go back? I guess I won't, well, I know what I'll do. I should reorganize this stuff first, because this tube, for example, I'll just slap it over here. That feels fair. Well, I think it would make more sense for the challenge tube to be above this. And so we'd have our 3 doors going into here, maybe. Huh. Because it would make sense for a tube to be here. Hang on, if I can, like, grab this, like this. You know, because then it's like, oh, this, you know, big chamber is for big tubes to go through. But then again, I could just have, like, decorative tubes in there for it to make sense. And then we have a non-decorative tube over here. Because otherwise I have to make the death plane have a like a complex collision shape, and that's too much for me. Yeah, I'll do this. And so yeah, we have 2 ways to go. We can go this way, get that little optional thing, then we can jump over here and do this way. Go the main path. And the rest of this stuff, I know. We do need to get, I know what to do. Grab this whole thing. Just make it bigger for now. Make it big enough to incorporate all of this stuff, and then we do need this box. So what is that attached to? That should be right here. And I'm going to add a little bit of margin. Then we can have this go a little bit inward. Yeah, good enough. Well, we do need this to go a little bit more. Oh, right here. Not what I wanted. I know what I needed. No. I know what I do. There we go. Okay. Now we can attach everything as I see fit. Where did I go? Okay, there we go. So now we have little tubes and boxes and all that wonderful stuff. I love this. Move a little bit inward. What is in here? Move a little bit upward. Okay. I like how this place is turning out. I like how connected the circle is now. You know, that we have so much stuff going around and around the circle that we're basically going in a spiral. Up and down. And for now, I'm fine with this being like a big play place. But I will grab this. And I'll put that in the stripped ruins too. There we go. And technically, we don't actually need to open all of these doors. I guess I can just make that, like, correct. Yeah, or just extend that outward. And then get our little door section here. Extend that outward. Look at that. And then we can have that, you know, it's still kind of the honor system, but now at least it, like, implies what's going to be happening with the door. And that means this can go up into this area, which spits us out over here at the top of this. Okay, that's fine. Which one? There we go. So yeah, now this stuff should be a lot more compatible with all of the stuff that I've made so far. And then let's make one last thing, which is the ceiling. Admittedly, I should have been making this more like room structured still. Like, because a lot of this is unnecessarily complicated. But oh well. Cut a hole right here. Let's see if that is the correct place. Good. And then let's move this little thing here to like line up with all of our platforms and doors and etc. And I should have had the door there. Oh well. Okay, so let's call this marker, or let's just have challenge entry. Yeah, okay. Oh wait, let's see. Do I have any interest in the Markiplier movie Iron Lung? I've heard about it. I am curious. Though admittedly, I don't watch that many movies and I've heard it isn't very good, so I'm wondering if it'd be worth the time to see it. Because yeah, like I finally watched Blade Runner recently. So that's like the kind of that's like my backlog of movies. It's like, I've heard this movie's good. I should probably watch it eventually. I guess now's the day. And I only watched it for comparison to Fallout 4. Okay, do I want... I think I want one last thing, which is to make the floor here. And actually, do I want to reparent this thing? I guess Stripped Ruins 2, I gotta keep like this. Sit and engage in passive entertainment isn't what it used to be. Yeah, same for me. I don't... Well, I guess I do watch YouTube a lot. But otherwise, I don't really do much with movies. Oh, whoops. I wonder if I'd call the stuff that I watch informative. I guess it kind of is. I've been watching a lot of Veritasium lately. Let's call this... I'm going to flip this and then separate this. Infotainment. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Like pop science, basically. Where it's deliberately simplified from the actual stuff. Or taking more complicated information and making it digestible, which sometimes comes at the cost of the nuance that can be useful for understanding it fully. See, and I just need this here. Actually, let's call this, so this is now going to be Stripped Ruins 3 S-body. Yeah, the issue is basically... Oh, wait. What is the issue, really? With a lot of stuff, you have to have already, Oh, wait, what the heck did I do here? This is supposed to be room. You have to know a lot about it before you can really understand, like, the latest findings and stuff. You know, like, it's hard to explain the importance of certain, like, I don't know, astronomy findings, for example, unless you already know a lot about astronomy. You know, because there's a lot of videos of, like, we found alien life, where it's like, no, what they found was, like, so specific that you have to, like, have a PhD to even understand what they're talking about and why it's important. With, like, big planet news and stuff. Okay, I think this can be considered good. Alright. So it's less placeholder by the minute. We even have a new room. And this room, I can do some sort of thing in it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, also the sensationalization. Because a lot of the times it's also just people misunderstanding the significance of findings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so something like that, where they found an amino acid that correlates with life. That's still a big finding, but it doesn't sound like a big finding unless you completely misinform people about what it is. It's sort of like how, with quantum mechanics, there's a lot of weird, really surprising things, but only if you're already a physicist. And so when they try to explain why it's weird and surprising to regular people, it becomes like an electron knows when you're looking at it, or like completely wrong explanations of things like that. You know, because physicists are like, no, you don't get it. It changes when you observe it. And that means something very specific to the layperson that it does not mean to an actual physicist. But to an actual physicist, it's still weird that an electron will change from a wave to like a particle when you shoot it with a laser. But like, a lot of other people don't realize that's the observation, the act of shooting the electron with a laser. Not when the intern or the graduate student like looks at the findings on a screen or something. Yeah, that's been my very specific like bugbear for a while in physics, of just like that specific explanation. But okay, let's make sure all this stuff works. Because yeah, this place is getting a little bit bigger. Oh, I've never seen people trying to build their own quantum PC. That would be very interesting. I don't know how they would, like, even approach it. Like, incorrectly. I don't know how you'd approach it. Because I have a joke about the Schrodinger's cat, for example. Where, in order for the, like, you know, people always wonder if the cat's okay. But for the experiment to work, the box has to be airtight, so the cat is dead. Like, because for quantum mechanics, you have to have something that is, like, completely sealed off from outside reactions, or, like, interactions. And so, like, having the quantum mechanics gets pretty expensive. Sat and watched a supervisor. Couldn't afford the electric bill to cool that thing. Exactly. The machines you need, like, there's a reason it costs like $1 billion to make a quantum computer. And like, why, like, we have like 5 atoms of a quantum computer. Alright, so that stuff still works. There is the weird gap there, but that's just because I can't be bothered to make it look good. And so now, we should be able to do all this stuff. And hopefully, if I get into here, I can basically skip one of the stages of this quest without soft-locking the game. Okay, good. That still works. And I think the way that I'll make this... I think I'm fine with the length of this. I was a bit worried that, like, it'd be too short, but I'm realizing I can make it longer by adding more dialogue and, like, stuff to look at and do adventure game stuff with, because that's part of the game that's kind of being neglected right now in this level. You know, I want all this stuff to have some sort of meaning, and, like, characters care about it, and Razia cares about it, and stuff like that. And that'll add some, playtime here of just, like, reading the dialogue. Alright. So now we're back to where we were before. Yeah, I'm happy with how this is coming along. It's a little less placeholder by the day. Oh, wait. Wait, what? Oh, wait. Okay, I see. Medium is more... No. I was about to say medium is more opulent, but that would imply things that aren't here. Alright. So where do we go next? I think we go this way, up some time gun chicanery to get to this platform here, which I see as, let's see. I think I need to grab this bit. Oh, wait. Cursor. Do this still... Oh, wait. I've now put it inside out. How do I want this to look? I won't fiddle with it yet. I think what I'll do is I'll just put some platforms here, and we'll have more like, more in Godot editing. So yeah, now, yeah, we found our way in. We've done the medium stuff. We do the cool gauntlet. Then we need probably some more... We could have plenty of side paths here, for example. Ooh, I think what would be nice is a little window to see this room from here. Which room? Because, yeah, I like the interconnectedness. I think what I'd have is... delete these. Oh, wait, no. Now delete these. Origin. Oh, wait, no. So this is now some sort of center of, or like observation deck room. Because, yeah, the player can, like, peek through a window or something, and they're like, oh, look at that, neato. We can go down to here and, like, die. I think this is perfectly aligned, or I think this is, like, aligned with this, or maybe it was supposed to be, like, these 3 rooms. Yeah, because I'm trying to keep it... whatever. As before, I'll have to eventually, like, figure out how all of this stuff is how to make all of this stuff properly aligned, rotate it a little bit and stuff like that. Yeah, right now, I'm content with just having this structure. Actually, let's do 3 here. There we go. Actually, that might help with this a little bit. Not really. Yeah, so we need this door to have, I know what to do. Put a plane axis there, parent this with that. So that way this now is the door that'll be here. Door, holder thing. And that lets me have these, like, properly... or easier to readjust and move around, because now I can move this door, and if I have an animation attached to the door object itself, I can still move this around without, like, forgetting its position. But okay, let's call this door loop back. So yeah, because now the world is our oyster. And I'll do the same thing with this one. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the value of having these, like, all of these loopbacks will be, but I think it would be, it'll do something. It'll let the player explore this area in a non-linear fashion now that they've seen all of these areas. They don't have to do each one individually. And that'll be useful at some point because I'll have more side paths that like require more tools to like do. Okay, that explanation makes sense in my head, so that's what we're going with. That does beg the question, though, of where our key will be. Because, yeah, we get a key card. Oh, wait, hang on. This room is supposed to be, first of all, we need a single arrow. This is, oh wait, let's rename this to collision. Add that to that. Put that there. There we go. That gets us a bit closer. And then all of these doors, there we go. Beautiful. Also looking around, making sure everything here makes sense. Okay. So in the observatory, square platform. And eventually these platforms will also collapse, probably. And then we can have a much more complicated platforming segment here. Well, what do I want here? I want a fan that we have to jump into and then go through. See if I can figure out how to do that. Wait, actually, first of all, split out this wall here. So I'm going to make this its own little thing. Because now this is going to be like Refresher 2 or something. Okay. There we go. Oh, wait, no. Cursor to selected. Actually... that. Then that. Then another single arrow. Because this is going to be Refresher 2 room. And the power of this is now that I can attach these three things to there. Have this called Refresher 2 collision. There we are. So yeah, because now that we have a wall here, that makes it easy for me to like completely separate out this and do whatever I want with this room. Because yeah, now what we need to do is we've experimented with the time gun in this chamber, allegedly. I'll eventually figure out the proper ways of doing all that stuff. Let's go back to the necropolis. Because, yeah, the next thing that I want is probably going to be, let's see, so in here we have combat. Do I want combat? How much combat should we have? I think I want it to be in the last third of the area. We actually start getting combat. I need to get my gizmos back, my sensors. Okay, I won't overthink it for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get more copper. And we're going to put some CSGs in here. Let's get like a CSG box somewhere. I don't care. And we won't attach it to the room itself. We're just going to attach it here. Because, yeah, I think the first thing that I want is a simple chamber incorporating the time gun, the timed platforms, and the fans. Because that's something that we haven't been challenged on yet. Subtraction. Okay, and then we get a door. Door 1. I think what I want is a taller platform. Because I want to replicate the challenge that I had, Oh, wait. I need to replicate the fan's ability to turn... Okay. What I should do... Very first order of business. Let's go back to here. We need to make this playground, because I need to introduce a few different things in the playground. Use time stop to disable fans. Get past really fast timed doors. Maybe combat. Or jump on falling platform. Because something we could do is have the player fall into a pit. Because I'm also trying to figure out how exactly do we make it so the player has to use the... I know exactly what it could be. There's a fan that goes this way. And also, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for all these. Delete that. Flip this. Good enough. So yeah, we're going to have a button here, disable a fan, get down into here. We can't go any further. But there is a secret little maintenance area with a time gun. And then we can jump into here, re-enable, or slow down time to get into here. Okay. And we can also have a little optional area up here. Is this thing nuts? Oh, hang on. Why did this thing not level out? I see. And yeah, for now, I'll just leave that as it is. But okay, we'll have some little extra rewards over here for teaching the player how to do things. So they must go down into here. They will be blocked by the fan. Then they do this, they do that, jump up. And then that leads them into this area. That. I guess this will be... Oh, wait. Playground room. And this will be, for now, I won't even, like, try to make it, like, resemble the rest of the space here. And I'm thinking, do I want this to loop back up to here? And then potentially you can walk across this? Because yeah, we're gonna have it do... That'd be nice. Make it a little less annoying to backtrack. Well... Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's have that. Okay. Okay, there we are. There we go. And I think what I can do here is just have a door that you can't open from this side, and that'll be fine by me. And then you just press a button, go up here, all that stuff. And then you... Okay, yeah, and that'll help you, that'll teach you all the things that you do. And so yeah, you can either go out this way, or you can go up into this and go into here. Okay, good. So yeah, now the time gun, we move it to a new location. Right down here. And we'd have fans and etc. Oh wait, we need this to go down though. Because otherwise, there's no way to make this work. Do that. There we are. And I surprisingly just like eyeballed that. Basically exactly how I wanted it. Because these go into the time gun room, which should be with the T's, except for the fact that they're not alphabetical. Or they're alphabetical in Blender, but not alphabetical here. Because I think it's somewhere in here. Time gun. I think it was one of the first rooms I made. Paul time gun. Okay. Put that there. So now we basically just need another one of those standing buttons, and it'll be flipped around. Wire. And that goes to fan 3. I'm going to call this fan 2 time gun. 2, there we go. And we will flip that wire. There we are. I think the big thing is I need to make sure that the, hang on. I probably just need to detach this from the wall. Because otherwise, there's not going to be any way for me to figure out how to actually, like, do this. And let's call this just like, center of mass surface. Hang on. What the heck? Origin to center of mass. Why is that doing that now? What? That's not at all what I want it to do. I want to move the origin to the center of mass without moving. It just changed how it works. Hang on. We need to, what? I don't care. Oh, I see. Because it has the constraint to copy the transform. Can we apply the transform and then do that? There we go. Okay. And you know what? I think I should apply the transform there as well. But okay, that means that now we can do that to get into there. But I can have these tubes come in a little bit and make it a little bit closer to a pipe shape. Because, yeah, I want to make sure that I can actually, like, wrong thing. Yeah, I want to be able to actually, like, crawl out of the pipe successfully without dying. Can I grab the thing that I'm clicking on instead of some random other thing that I'm not clicking on, Godot? Okay. Oh wait, hang on. I need to call this pipe first. Beautiful. Wrong way, Godot. I wanna get this one. Whatever. I can just eyeball it. I'm only a little mad. Okay. So now that basically works how I want it to. Oh, and we have a little thing up here. Let's get a little bug. Let's move it there. And let's have this impart 10 velocity. And I think this one will impart less. It'll impart like... Or it'll have lower range of like 8 or 5 or something like that. Okay, so we need to delete our save again. And I think this time I'm not even going to bother getting Razia. Well... No, what I should do is I should make a new save. Okay, so let's call this one global debug save Razia 1. And then I'll call something else Razia 2. And so on. It'll be fantastic. What is this thing, anyway? Oh, the wall. Okay. Nice. I kind of like that here. I'll have to figure out how much of the, like, weird stuff sticking out actually looks cool, and how much is just me, like, being delusional. But okay, we have all sorts of beautiful things here. Huh. That one's a risky one. Oh. This... Oh, I see. I somehow turned that off? I don't know how I turned that off. Ooh, I forgot that I have to go here. Okay. So we've gotten past the first business. Oh, I guess I did need Razia to get the time gun. Okay. So now, save 2. The music is very quiet, so I'm just gonna skip this song. Oh, I guess the other one's also very quiet. Okay. Do our early business. Thing there. Okay, so my main thing now is... Okay, I think we probably can't get over to there very realistically. So now our main thing is that. Actually, let's make sure we don't get soft locked here. Good. This is at just the right height so that we're like pushed up into here. Okay, so I'll need a fan. Okay, okay. I see exact... So this... Kind of in the middle of nowhere for this time gun. I'll have to make it look more important. But this is good from a mechanical perspective of, like, showing exactly what it does. It slows down time. If you can go through fans now, which is sometimes a bad thing, but sometimes a good thing. Like right here. Also a little too difficult to get through. So let's get some, like, stuff now in order here. Because I'm thinking we put a little lip right here. Of just, like, right about there. So that way the player's like, okay. Ouch. I think I should have it be horizontal. Yeah, actually, that makes much more sense. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, here we go. And now... Wrong thing. Dissolve these edges. There we go. Good enough. Okay, because now we have the ability to easily walk through the fans rather than doing a bunch of other stuff. Because, yeah, it was simply too difficult for my poor little brain. And this way it's very, very obvious what happens. Oh, fan to time gun goes down here. How did we get this, like, messed up like this? Like, how are these things not properly aligned? Ah, well, whatever. And a little bonus thing. This fan probably needs to now... What do we do now? Where is there is? Okay. So our bug Let's put our bug right about here. Maybe. That's fine. Okay, so now this wire... let's move our standing button, maybe? Let's move this. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait, I'm just realizing now. This could soft lock us. If we go into the fan... Yeah. Hang on. Let's have the distance of this thing be like 3. Or like 4 meters or something like that. And have this be like 8 or 6 or something like that. Oh wait, now we actually do need a collision here that is not one-sided. So when we're doing blockade... Okay, yeah. Mask 2 and 3. So this should collide with the player. Blockade collision shape 3D disabled equals not active. That seems right. Because, yeah, we should not be able to get through the collision without the time gun. Why can we get through? I guess what I could do is just have the fans go the opposite direction. And this one also has an effective range of 5. That makes sense. Okay. So now if we go back into here, even if we like take advantage of the fact that it's one-sided, because I can't be bothered to fix it right now. Wait, what the fuck? Now the blockade only works when it's inact. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But okay. Now, it's much easier to get through the first time because basically the reason I did this is because jumping through the fans and avoiding the propellers is pretty complicated. But walking through and timing that is much easier. And then we can get this. Nice, look at that. So yeah, now the player has to get the time gun. In order to, like, escape that room. And then, over on this side, there'll be a playground, which actually, we could have that connect to that as well. Ooh. Getting a bit close to dead. Actually, wait. If I get out here... Aha. I think the way that we have this is... maybe have another one-way door here, or something. Hang on. So yeah, now there's like several ways that the player can get back from one place to another without having to do a bunch of looping around and stuff. And yeah, now we have the playground and we can do stuff here, and then we can loop back this way to get to the door more easily. Next, I'm thinking, get this. What if we just have it go down like this? Actually, let's move this back up to the same level as this approximately. Go down 8 meters. Okay, there we are. Basically, the player should jump down to here, back to here, go back up this way. And these are too tall for the player to go back up, so this is effectively a one-way path until they get the time gun. Which is also a one-way path until they actually use it to go through the fans, and then they can either go this way to go straight back, this way to get a bug and then go back, or then go here and then come up here and then go back. Because they also need to know that that door is still controlled by that switch. But now they can see both of them. So I can go, okay, there's a door there and a wire leading to it there. And so hopefully their big brain will infer that that means they should press the button to go to the door. Oh, and also we need this to be deleted. There we go. Okay, and all of that should now let the player become familiar with the concept of things like jumping on platforms using a moving thing. Yeah, let's get a fan again. Falling platform. Okay. So yeah, now the player can come this way, and they're like, oh, look at this, there's a room. And yeah, eventually, it should be a proper playground. And yeah, now they can be like, look at that, door over there, button over there. They can also just go this way. And hopefully they don't get too annoyed by the fact that the falling platforms need to respawn. Okay. Now we've done a few things. Now I'm trying to think, more stuff, more stuff. We need to do a more advanced challenge with the, basically get this... Oh, wait, hang on. Get these 3 things. Actually, let's have this be all attached to one thing. Marker. This will be like challenge advanced fans. Because, yeah, I think it needs to be up a bit higher. And then fans. Because I think we jump onto the fan, we get onto a platform. And then we jump from that fan into another fan. Because, yeah, I want to replicate the feeling of one of these challenges in here. This one. Where you stand on a button to activate a door there. And then go to this fan, jumps up into here, crawl along this stuff, then you jump across this fan. So the strategy that I want the player to encourage the player to do is jump through the fan's propellers and then deactivate your thing, which admittedly is pretty advanced. And yeah, I'm seeing that this is not nearly tall enough. And we could have this be like a potentially an optional thing, now that I'm thinking about it, but who knows? I think we have a fan here. And that sends us careening up into the air. Probably like a 10 velocity, 5 range. Square platform. Right, like here. And what I could do to make the challenge simpler is you can climb up through the propeller into here. And actually, I think I want this to be on... Wait. There we go. Probably more like this way, where we go up the propeller. Or up to here. Jump into here. And that puts us around here. And then that puts us into there. Okay. Standing button. Okay. So this is fan door. Door fan 2. It makes a lot more sense to have these doors named by me. I guess, how would I do that from my Blender exporter? Because I do want the ability to like reference these objects in Blender so I can like model the environment around them. I guess I could just make a door frame, and then that's the thing that I use? That makes sense. But okay, for now, let's just have the wires crisscross. And this needs to be, like, 5 seconds. And we should also have this go down. You know, I'm realizing I have yet to be, like, frustrated by any of the things I've designed so far. And I think that's a good sign, because, like, I would rather the game be easy than frustrating. You know, and I've realized that I'm not, like, I don't design, like, the razor-sharp, Ooh, that did not, hang on. I think I underestimated some of these heights here. Right, get this maybe like there. And then we can have this come up like this. And then we jump through into that, onto this side of the wall. Yeah, because it used to be I'd design something, and then it'd take me like a dozen tries, and now I can pretty much, like, do all of my levels. Ooh. Again, a little too slow. Let's do 18. Ooh, okay, 22. Because, yeah, I like forcing the player to turn on and off the time slow. I think I need a little bit more height, but the time seems just about right, where it's like, it looks close, but it's still pretty, like a pretty healthy margin there. Oh, there we go. So yeah, let's try again. Okay, and that gets us there. There we go. And now it all attaches beautifully. And that means that now... I'm trying to think what that gives me. Or what I want that to give me. Is that the mandatory path, or is that just like one possible path the player can take? This place is coming together. Admittedly, it's still a little too hard to avoid taking damage on the fans. But maybe I want that. Maybe I want the game to be bullshit. Or maybe that's just an acceptable level of jank. Like, it's hypothetically possible to always avoid damage. It's just very hard to do so, and not actually that important to do so. Because the checkpoints heal you or something. Oh, wait. Save and quit there. Yeah, let's get some more, First of all, copper. We obviously need our beautiful copper materials here. Got that. Square platform. I guess I still need to put more thought into the overall design. I guess I will have these circular buildings. I'm not going to have the triangular doors in the end. And these platforms, I guess these platforms are fine. I'll just have them do what they do. Well, the actual, like, the actual design of them is okay. Or shapes. I will need to rework the textures, though. Because, yeah, it's all going to be bronze and brass and copper. Which, actually, I was looking into the game Highguard, which has that style. Like, the dominant color of Highguard is brass. Just like these low saturation, sort of gold hues. And it's an interesting style. Though I think they don't commit to it quite enough. I'd like more like brass elements in all of the like weapons especially. But okay, I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna say that's that. This down here can be whatever I want it to be or not be. I can like completely destroy it if I want. In fact, I could have a one-way door to lead back into here. Sorry, I coughed and died. I think that'd be fun. Like, just have a door the player can unlock permanently to then loop back into here and get confused. Well, no. That's a bad idea. Because, yeah, the player could be like, wait a second, that just sends me right back to where I was. Okay, I'll call that good. My next step, then, I think we move this down to match the like height of this. Oh, wait. I was pressing GZ to, like, move it, or to use Godot's, whatever tool, Blender's translate tool. Okay. Looks like a dick, but it won't look like a dick for very long, because I'm not going to have these here. But for now I will. Let's just have, there we go. Now it's a little less, like, panicular. Okay. And a lot of this stuff you could completely break by just having extra high climbing. But here, admittedly, well, that looks like it'd be very difficult to do. With just extra stamina. But okay. Yeah, so then what we're going to do is we're going to get an item here that allows us to open all of these other doors. And then go through the doors. Hmm. What am I doing here? I don't need this. I need to go to my sensors. Okay, so how does this thing work? I think what I want is... so stat, tablet key used. I guess that's fair. Audio there is... yeah, that's fair. And let's update this for the modern era. There we go. And we can have value. Cool. And this will be export, no, class name sensor. Okay, that's fair. And I think what I want is actually to have a door as a thing that we do something on. Export var door iToggle, or like object. Okay. And what I can have here is when we do all this stuff, function or like toggle. No, true. Toggle val fall or bool pass. Because what we're going to do is if val and also active equals val toggle dot emit val so if value and not active, let's see, should be active equals that. Let's do toggle should be active. Elif not val and active. Oh, we don't even need that. Oh wait, let's do like if val not equal to active. Okay. And the reason I was doing this was because now I want the ability to, on an iToggle, function locked, active, bool, oh wait, no, pass, or indicate locked. That means we can have a custom animation that'll play when we do that. But okay, now a sensor. Okay. Now what we can do is if... I guess I'll just have that here. If toggled object toggle dot connect. Oh wait, no. Toggled connect toggled object dot toggle. Okay. There we go. So this means that now we do that. And that means that I can add a sensor to, for example, here. I'm going to add a door to this thing. And I can also add a, what do I want here? I guess this is fine. Animation new activate. And let's have it so that if we have a door that does locked, or indicate locked, wherever that is, something like toggled. Yeah, when we do our toggle, it should do something in here. Yeah, like that. Function indicate locked if anim and anim has animation locked, play locked. There we go. So yeah, this makes my life easier. Because eventually I can make that look good. But for now, what I'm going to do is standard. I think the door holder thing should have the area attached to it. So yeah, what I can do is no, do I want to do that? I'll ignore it for now. Let's add a sensor. Okay, so that is a stat. The key item will be neutrino tablet. I don't know how I'll express that in a thing. Box shape 3D. Oh yeah, we have to do we have to re-enable our gizmos. But yeah, now it should tell us quite clearly whether or not we've got the stuff to go in. And I think I'll just attach the door right here. So this is going to have the sensor as an active object. Actually, let's have... no, I guess that's fine. Wait, no, actually, I do want to change the active object to door time gun 001. Because basically, we're going to have the same animations for all of these. Okay. Transform. There. Two and 0.5. Okay. So now we can just copy this sensor over to, for example, this door. Change this root object. Door loop back. And that should do that. Okay, so now if I play this animation, it opens this door. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side with this door. What the heck is this? Let's call this another door holder medium. Copper local coordinates. So that means that now... There we go. Okay. Door medium. So that should open that perfectly. Beautiful. So now all I need to do is have the item for this, if we make sure that this is all correctly. Body inventory. I can do body dot. Hang on. Don't we have like a has item? No, we don't. Okay. So we do that. So if we count key item, good. I'm going to rename one of these to, like, neutrino tablet. So a small tablet with an icon of... icon. There we go. And that means that now I can add that as an item here. We can do tablet pickup, hopefully. I guess I'll just do item pickup. And I'll just put, so there's going to be pickup tablet neutrino. In the observation room. Persistent, Does this have the tool mode? Okay, good. And then tablet. I'll do the skull tablet for now. So I think now if I go back to opulent medium, there we go. So yeah, eventually this will do something interesting. Oh, I see. Wrong thing. I need to go to skull tablet scene. Get this thing with like copper local. And let's do black or spooky. Okay. Okay. It's just gonna take a bit for that to do that thing. Okay, let's see if all of this works. Because this means that now I can actually pick up the item. Oh, it didn't quite work. Oh, because we need a thing on the stream. Let's do just... No, I don't want to do that. Sensor... Oh, we also need all of these to have their door attached to it. Where's our other sensor? Audio stream player 3D called audio, and it'll have SFX. Okay. Good. That scared me. Why is it? Oh, because, hang on. All of these sensors need to be, I know. Active and that. I know. If active. This only, you know, either keeps us active or not active. And for all of these, we have only the player as a collider. And maybe friendly NPCs? Thinking about it? But okay, now they do that. We have our cool circle tablet. We come over here, and this should now activate. The sound isn't very good, but I can fix that by just audio. Lower the volume of this a little bit. Lower the pitch scale a little bit. But okay, now we have the world at our Oyster. It's at our Oyster, everybody. And we can, like, fall off and backtrack and do whatever we want. Okay. So yeah, now we've got a gosh darn the makings of a video game here. Levels that do things and they're good. Okay. First, third, I guess, 2/3 locked out. Well, actually, it's a little less than 2/3. Because basically now we have a couple stages left. The first stage is basically getting behind the medium. So Razia is like, no, we need to go deeper still and get into the inner workings much deeper. And then the second part is once Razia has pulled the capacitor, the whole place needs to shut down and it needs to feel much more dangerous. And the way that we do that... I'm not sure exactly how we do that. Yeah, I guess let's go through it as it's, you know, from beginning to end. Oh wait, hang on. Let's restart. Autosave. I should have saved that as Razia 3. Oh well. Well, I guess it's not even too late. Well, it is, kinda. I don't care. Talk to you. So you're a researcher? Okay. I can help find your gizmo gadget, whatever you need. I'll keep my eyes out. He goes back and forth from those poses a lot. And yeah, eventually, I think one of my next things for the cutscenes is I want, no matter how quickly you go through dialogue, I want the posing to be smooth, going from one animation to another. Because right now, if you go like too quickly, it'll jump between animations. But okay. There we go. So yeah, back on the road. She does her curious thing where she falls sideways, which I don't get why that happens. Oh yeah, we need to improve some things here while we're at it. Let's just fix up little annoyances. Interesting that didn't do anything. Huh. Okay, I don't know why that, like, took 3 tries. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Move that about there. Move that about there. That's fine for me. Or, move it down a little bit? Yeah, that seems fine. And then let's have this not, like, stick out super, super far. And then I have a cool idea. Make this look good. Huh? Oh, I see. There we are. I don't understand this. Sometimes I defy human logic in how I design my vertices. How the... Hang on. Merge by distance. Okay, so why is this not attaching to these 3 things? So is there any reason that I wouldn't do that? I guess it's because I want this to be flush with the ground. But why don't I just do this? Like, that's perfectly fine. Actually, I have a better idea. Just delete these for now. Because eventually each of these will have its own distinct room. Okay. That's all good. And eventually we'll have a mountain above us, so we don't need to worry about the lighting, casting light down into here. And I was wondering why it was only visible now, but I just remembered. It's because we removed the back faces on all of these rooms. Okay, so is there anything... I like this room. I think... I gotta think of, like, basically, each of these rooms will also be decorated with stuff. And so I like how some of them are large and have, like, ample space. And then others are smaller, like this one, would only have, like, basically just this challenge. I mean, there is a question as to, like, why you would have this challenge here, but... that's not quite right. Yeah, basically, this should be able to... okay. I can't spin kick, or I can't jump until I'm done spinning in the air. So... move those all a little bit closer. Take your time, Godot. Okay, there we go. So where is our first challenge? Right here. These all need to be closer. Because this one needs to be closer. Why did it deselect that? It's like the raccoon that has the cotton candy that it washes in the river. And then the cotton candy disappeared. That's my reaction to that. Okay. It might seem hyperbolic to be so distraught. That needs to be over here. Hang on. This needs to be, like, right there, I'd say. Okay, and that actually didn't break. Good. Oh, I probably should have checked how long this would take. Ah, well, I don't really care. Okay. Then we squeeze down here. We're in all of the entry stuff. So yeah, we can have more sub-rooms and stuff like that. That'd be good. Oh, right, the chair. Oh, right, I was supposed to do stuff. Okay. Alright. So yeah, we need to keep a watch on these. Oh. Oh. It's too dangerous to go up. So yeah, I still need to figure out how I'm going to redo this system. But alright. I'm not even doing commentary, I'm just like playing the game now. So yeah, the player will go like, oh, that's, you know, there's absolutely no hope of me doing that, so... clearly, I meant to do something else. Probably go down here, and then there's like a room up here that's like... again, probably too, well, I guess this one, it's possible to do without that. And then that leads you back up here, and you're like, well, that didn't do much for me. So yeah, hopefully the player's directed by this, because that's... I guess what I should do is just make it so that you can't do that platforming until you've come into here. do that, and then you're like, what does this do? And then you're like, oh, cool, the fan is moving slow. And hopefully they don't get damaged at first, and they're like, what the heck? It still damages me? I thought the whole point was to not damage me. Wait, isn't there like a... supposed to be some sort of... Oh, I see. This wall pokes out. Yeah, because there's a little bit of that barrier there. Okay. Yeah, so that's a little too easy to jank past. But then you're like, okay, there's a door there. There's a thing there. This makes it so that the thing that was too fast should probably not be too fast. And then you can do this. It didn't work. Hang on. So I think that's my major... Hang on. We need the ability to still ledge grab onto these. Hang on. I really, really don't like how that doesn't work. I'm just going to put that in bugs. Ledge grab on moving platforms after spin kick probably doesn't work. Movement, ledge grab after spin kick on moving platform is unreliable. After spin kick specifically? Okay. Admittedly, the fact that you can, like, completely break some of the platforming with, other weapons will be an issue. I'll have to figure out how to deal with that. And also how these interact, like, these falling platforms should interact with the gravity gun in some way. That'd be fun. But that does mean that then the time gun would be completely bypassed. Okay, there we are. Alrighty. So now, hopefully the player remembers this place. I'll have to make it more distinct. And then it's like, okay, I guess I did the video game. But okay. And let's do one more look just to make sure that the, because I changed the necropolis floor. I want to make sure that that looks good. That's okay. I am tempted also to change Jackie's collision so it works more like Kitty's, where basically, instead of having just one capsule collider, I have a shape cast from the player's, like, probably from, like, the mid-calf down, so that way you can just step over all of these steps. I'm wondering exactly what I want to do with that. Because, yeah, we can do a lot more precise stuff. Oh, I see. There we go. Took us a bit. What do we have here? Use an item. Time gun. What other item do we have? Pictures of a machine? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's make sure that this quest wins. Any luck finding the part? No, we pretty clearly have it, actually. What happened there? Why did that not work? Let's go, dialogue, quest, minor, time stop, scientist. Any luck? So nothing yet. I'm not sure how to get into the ruins. That's not correct anymore. How did we... Hang on. So visited opulent medium. Don't we have that now? Hang on. Isn't this a visit area? Oh, it's probably because... Hang on. I don't have the faintest idea how these things have, like... What went wrong? Wait, did I change the medium room or something? Because we got moving room 1, we got the medium here. So this... What is this exactly? Yeah, that's fine. I do kind of want this to be here. Like, have these guys and this as part of topside. But okay, what I see as the big problem is there's no explanation for why this is here. So I'm just going to move that position. Move its rotation. This is also going to be a child of the moving room. And then we get the transform here. Fix that. Also, oh, I see. That's not the chunk. Okay, that's for the actual chunk itself. So, I found my way into the ruins, but I don't... So, So, hang on. Where's our area here? This is supposed to have a visit area, I think. Because, yeah, this is supposed to be opulent, medium, medium. And we should have the ability to fast-track the quest if we've done something. But okay, so he has that stuff. And then we'll need to redo that dialogue, but that's fine. But now that I have the item, I can just come into here. Come into here, like that. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'll need to do a little bit of work to make that work. But okay, now we can talk to him. That didn't work. Why did that not work? Is this thing not... So opulent medium, colon medium is the thing that we need. And then stage 20, we get opulent medium open. This is not what we need. Oh, wait, no, this is what we need. But I didn't find anything. So I found my way into the ruins, but I didn't find anything of interest. Or at least not the machine. Rats. Perhaps there's more to it, but I don't know what exactly we'd find. Let's see. Or let's say perhaps we'll need more help. Okay. So let's make sure that the visit area here will actually work. Okay. There's so many, like, things here. Yeah, this is gonna be annoying. Because we have to go through, like, every single room. Okay, so let's make sure that this area... Opulent medium interior. Huh? Where have we visited so far? Opulent medium, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, it was just because I had some sort of typo. Yeah, medium. Now if we talk to him. Found my way to the ruins? So why is the other thing not working? What is our other stat? Opulent medium / room 1. Let's say ceiling door. So yeah, we're going to re-update this to be completion stat door. Lower that. And actually then... Okay, yeah, we have that. There we go. Okay, and then next I'll need to do Razia's quest, because now we're restructuring it. So instead of being completely linear, we have the ability to exit early to give Dr. Karimov his gun, and Razia will be like, hey, let's go even further, because there's stuff that I need from the ruins as well. And that's when we do our extra super secret, like, really fuck up the ruins. But okay. This was pretty good for 3 hours, 50 minutes or so. I think the main thing I'd want is probably more... Well, I guess just a lot more time gun stuff, because now we need to make, like, the back half of this place. And once we get that done, I mean, then I think it's just, what should I do after that? I think start finishing up the terrain editor, and then bring this into the terrain. So that way I can start making the vertical slice. Because the way that it's going to work is, it's all going to be on the world, as it would be in the final game. It's just there's only going to be 2 places that are done. And those will be the intro and this place. And so I'll have the actual chunk system implemented then. But alright. Very promising. Okay. Get that done there. There we go. Okay. So let's say opulent medium. Layout about 50. Let's say that. So I think drive 2. Okay. Right, so everything was called drive 2, not drive. Alright. Well, that is officially good enough for today. I'm happy with how it's worked out. And now we need to start doing the crazy half. But that'll be fun. Alright. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you later.